Hey everybody, how are you doing? This is Kirsten here, and thank you so much for joining me today for this new episode of A Better Way with Kirsten podcast. On this podcast, we're talking about chronic pain and chronic sensations that you might be experiencing, but they don't have a true physical cause. You have probably been to many doctors, acupuncturists, chiropractors, integrative health practitioners, naturopaths, the list goes on. And nobody has been able to figure out what really is going on, why you're having these sensations. And they may have given you certain labels like you have this and that, and they sound like scary medical things, but nobody has been able to really treat you or help you out of this problem. And you're like, what is going on? So what might be going on with you, and very likely is going on with you if none of this has helped, is that your problems are coming from dysregulated nervous system and brain that is on high alert often. And your job, if you want to get rid of these sensations, is to regulate your nervous system, bring it back to a healthy and balanced state most of the time, right? Because it's normal that sometimes you get angry and you get this fight or flight reaction. That's normal, but we want to in general build a more stable nervous system, that you come back to balance quicker and that you create this sense of safety in your nervous system and in your brain. Now, what we're going to talk about today is this. How do you know that healing is happening, even if your main sensation or main sensations are still there? Because it is possible that some things are happening, and if you pay attention to them, you notice that healing is happening, even if your main thing is still there. So I don't want you to throw in the towel and say this doesn't work. If some of these things that I'm going to mention here today are happening, they are really good and positive signs, and I think some of them might be surprising to you. Now, let's say that you are putting in all the work and not sure if this is helping or not. Now, let's first talk about the work. What is the work that helps a lot of people to recover from these sensations? And I'm going to keep it pretty brief. But the first thing that is important is letting go of those medical labels that you may be carrying around still. And of course, just like any other mind body coach will tell you, that it is important that you get checked out by a medical doctor to make sure that there's nothing seriously going on that requires medical attention. But if there isn't, and if the treatments that you have been given, if they're not helping you, then it's truly time to let go of those medical labels, and also time to stop going to doctors. Of course, disclaimer here, I am not a medical doctor myself, so you always have to make sure that you get checked out before. But like I said, let's say that you do get some sort of diagnosis or label, and there's nothing that helps with it, right? You get absolutely no help. And then you just walk around repeating to yourself that you have this problem, you have this terrible sounding medical condition, and you still identify with it. So now the work here is to let go of that and start accepting the fact that what you're dealing with is nervous system dysregulation. Of course, I've also used the term TMS, tension myositis syndrome, here a lot, which was coined by Dr. Sarno, and means exactly the same thing, that you have chronic pain that's coming from your nervous system. So it's time that you drop those medical labels. This is part of your work. This is part of understanding what you're actually dealing with. So let's say that you have already done that. You have let go of those labels. That's fantastic. That's really good. Very, very important. You may also have tried other things, such as you've been trying to talk to your brain, which is a very, very common suggestion, recommendation in this world. In this world of TMS, you have, talk to your brain that I'm safe and it's all right and we don't have to be scared. And this can work for a lot of people, right? Hearing that I'm safe, I'm good, this can be wonderful. But as you know, for me, it didn't help. But I'm not saying that it's useless or worthless, because I know that many people get help from this, even from this little mantra that I'm safe. Okay, that's cool. If this works, this is really great. Now, maybe you have also done work on your emotions, which you know that I am a big fan of. And truly for me, like, this was one of the biggest steps towards getting better, because this is where I started to realize that this stuff really lives inside of our bodies. Like, I don't mean like the pain is caused by anything in the body, but the emotions and the reactions and the responses actually feel in a very very distinct way in your body. And I started noticing it when I started working with emotions, understanding them better, like, oh, this is anger, and I'm going to say out loud now, this is anger. Now I'm going to try to feel it in my body. What is it like? And then I'm going to take some sort of action to respond, right? Not to react, but to respond. So for me, this was super important. It really changed a lot. So maybe you have done that work, and this is so fantastic. And this is why I created my course, Emotionally Fit too. And I created it because this was super helpful for me. And then from there, maybe you have used some other tools like somatic tools. Maybe you have gotten into vagus nerve stimulation and different body movements that are also designed to help you get back to your grounded and present state, to this balanced nervous system state. And this is another thing that I'm finding really, really helpful. And it was really cool how when I discovered the importance of emotions and then started understanding how the body plays into it, and then through that then came the more like somatic work and vagus nerve work. This has been really, really cool to kind of see how it has evolved. So let's say that you have tried these things, right? You are taking action, you are maybe also challenging yourself with difficult things that you used to avoid before. You've started living your life, you are not as afraid anymore.